It should. Did it give you like a way to
Yeah, it
opt in?
did. Yeah,
Uh, so if you're watching this replay now, I'm here with my man CJ. I've been working with him for about what, a year now?
just about. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's about a year into the Prime method. He's seen some great results. I mean, he could speak more to that because I'm gonna ask him some questions about it. But I just want to get him on here to kind of reflect on his experience going through the Prime method. We did a call like this, what, like 6 months ago, maybe,
Yeah, I think it was
not a
about
little
six
more,
months.
6 months ago, and he wanted to do another one, just kind of update us on his progress because he's seen so much more progress in this past 6 months. So, CJ, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, man? Like, tell us what you do, what your lifestyle is like, and we kind of go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. So yes, I'm CJ. Started working with Dallas about 11 months ago. Originally from Connecticut, the Northeast, and moved down to Georgia for work. I work in aerospace, and I work for a large company that does we manufacture engines. So I'm a material manager over the site down here in Georgia. So that takes up a lot of my time, and the rest of my time is spent being active. That's definitely
Oh yeah.
my main lifestyle now is being as active as I possibly can. And other than that, enjoy time, with family and friends and everything, and getting to do the fun things, but stay grinding every day.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. So you said like, yo, most of my life is spent being active now, as if it's a hobby, and I know that's like been a new thing the past couple of years. So why don't you
Yeah.
take us back to where it all started? Like, where would you say you were physically and mentally before we started?
Yeah, so I was probably at a point where, I mean, I like to call it an inflection point. It was the time where I realized that I needed to change a lot about my life. Um, I had gotten to a point where I wasn't active, I wasn't going to the gym, I wasn't taking care of what I was putting into my body. Um, I was spending a lot of time focused elsewhere. The focus wasn't on me and the focus wasn't on my health. And I kind of got to this point where, it creeps up on you. I had been taking care of what I thought, I was managing. And then all of a sudden, a lot of stress and bad habits just kind of compounded. Got me to a point where I looked in the mirror and I said, how did that happen?
Mhm.
And it was time for a change. So I got linked up, with you, Dallas, through a great mutual friend who had seen tons of good results. And I knew that it was something that it was time. It was time to invest in me, and it was time to change pretty much just about everything in my life. Make some real changes, make some real strides forward. And I knew it was kind of at 32, it's now or never. Things just get harder. We get older, our bodies change, and it gets harder to do these things. And I have a lot of time now to focus in on myself and spend the adequate amount of time that trying to get to the results that I want to see that takes, because it's a serious investment.
hmm Yeah, not only yeah, it is a serious investment because it's like once you decide to start, it's like, well, I'm not just trying to lose 30 pounds and put it back on. Like if I'm doing this, I want to do it, make sure it turns into a lifestyle. I want to do this for life. So and change
Exactly.
my identity. So would sounds like maybe you were gaining sounds like you were like what, gaining a little bit of weight over the years until you finally woke up one day. It was like, damn, when did this happen? I was like, is that kind of what happened?
Yeah, yeah, because I got in shape in college. Got dropped like 20, 30 pounds, age 18, 19, and then stayed in relatively decent shape. But kind of rode that wave for I think too long. You realize in your late 20s, early 30s that your body just doesn't bounce back the same way that it did when you were 23.
hmm
So I got to a point I was about 260. So it was the heaviest that I had ever been. I mean, it was clear, it was evident. You could kind of see it. Clothes weren't fitting the right way. I was buying bigger clothes. And since I started in November of 24, as of this week, I'm down 73 pounds. So
Damn, bro. But I
I've
say you
lost a lot
definitely
of weight.
yeah, I was about to ask you, like, damn, where you at right now? Like you gotta tell them.
Yeah, yeah, I'm at about 187. Um, Close to the goal. Not quite there
Mm.
yet, but
Oh yeah.
yes, just over 70 pounds in total so far.
hmm So do you remember your like rock bottom moment? Or like the like you said, inflection point, like the point where you're like, damn, this needs to change. Because things could have kept going the way they were going for another year or two, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do for sure. And I mean, I had a lot of life changes that were going on at the same time. Was moving jobs, took on a much more, I think, serious role. Moved into management, moved into leadership at work. Knew that was coming. Knew a big move was coming. Had gotten out of a long-term relationship, so the timing was exactly right for me to make all sorts of changes because I knew that when I was, moving 1,000 miles away from home, um, and taking on such different life goals, life experiences, that it had to be now. Now was the right time to do it because if I was continuing those bad habits in a totally different setting with totally different responsibilities, um, I knew that the stress of the job and what I was trying to do was going to be pretty significant. So getting my health in order was the right. It had to happen. For
Yeah.
me there was not another option where I was going to come down to Georgia and continue living an unhealthy lifestyle. It wouldn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Like you said, a lot of transitions in your life, like leaving a long-term relationship and then also with your job moving to Georgia. It's like, all right, this is as good a time as any to, I'm starting a new life pretty much, all these changes. I might as well change my habits too in this new environment rather than like keeping the old habits in the new environment and then like trying to change it later, right? That doesn't make sense. So yeah, it was just like a season of change for you.
Exactly, exactly. And we've talked about this so many times too. Like it spills over. Like once you get your fitness in check, it spills over into how you feel in your day to day. Like I genuinely feel like with the increase in energy that I have, the increase in confidence that I have, all the good things
Hmm.
that come from getting in shape and becoming fit, and not just like, half-ass fit, like really, really, really committing to it, helps me in my day to day outside of the gym. It helps me perform better at work. I'm clearer mentally. Um, I'm in a much cleaner, better mental state. So that just kind of it's all connected.
Everything affects everything, man. So,
100%.
and we'll
100%.
touch on that a little later when we talk about results too, because I want to ask you about that. But I know you had tried, like I know things are working out now, and you're down to 73 pounds since you initially started at 260. But what I know you this is not your first go with this. Like before we linked up, you had done you had a couple like weight loss stints or a couple times where you wanted to really prioritize this area of your life, and maybe you fell off. Like, what are some things you've tried that like didn't work for you in the past?
I think it wasn't going full in with it. Like it was working out a couple times a week. And this is years ago. Just because quite frankly, like over the last 5, 6 years, I really didn't put a lot of effort into it. I'll be super frank. So I kind of rode that like initial getting in shape that no, I'll be fine and it'll kind of work itself out, without realizing that like just the way that my body type is personally, I don't have that luxury. If
Mhm.
you don't put the effort into it, it's going to show. So I'd ride on a bike path and I'd kind of do small things. I would try to get back in the gym. I'd be all excited. I get in the gym for something, a trip coming up or something like that. Be like,
Mhm.
okay, well that kind of worked. And I got to kind of where I wanted to be at, and then I wouldn't continue it after. Um,
Yeah.
for I don't know, for whatever reasons. Um, but it wasn't as I didn't make it like a serious priority. And it's been something that I knew that I've wanted to do for a long time. Like doing that initially in college, I think at a young age, I was like, oh, I can get up at 5:30 in the morning, go run, go work out, watch what I eat. Like I can do that. So I think over the years when I got back into it, but didn't fully commit, I think that was where I knew that like it was a time for, if you're gonna do it, like do it. And,
Yeah.
and
If you're
I
gonna
that
do it for
was
real.
yeah, that was the main thing for me where I'm like, okay, I know deep in my soul that I want to do this. Um, so there are no more excuses, and it's the right time to do it. So I wasn't,
Mhm.
I think, and we touched on this in the original interview too, like I never tracked my food. And now at a point tracking my food for going on a year, now I can eyeball it. I'm like, I know what that is, and I know how much it's going to take to burn that off. And like, like I cut out alcohol for almost 6 months entirely, cut
Yeah.
out beer and wine almost entirely. Like I just really don't touch it anymore. Because you don't realize how much certain things repetitively just kind of add up. You have a couple beers every night. Not that I was doing that, but if you do, like it does continue to just you put the wrong things in your body enough times and you're gonna see it.
Hmm. Yeah, so it's like that. I know one of the things I had you doing was tracking your food, and I
Yeah.
never told you to cut out alcohol, but it was like, I guess that hyper awareness on the food not only gets you to a point where you can eyeball a plate of food and know what it is and know if it works, but so you learned about food, but it's also like probably made you hyper aware of the things that you shouldn't be doing. Like, damn, like a beer's 200 calories. Like, man, I
Yeah.
was doing three of these, and then
Right.
after that, ordering food. Like, hell no, I gotta stop.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, man. So it sounds like it wasn't necessarily what you were doing that was the issue. It was more so your level of commitment. So, with that said, what was it that made you decide to, start working with me or invest in yourself as opposed to doing it on your own?
I think it was the accountability portion of it. It's you can do it on your own. It was part of accountability, but also it was a lot of the knowledge. Like I would go into the gym, and I think my biggest thing when I started, before we started working together, was I had some ideas. I had it in the notes app or whatever, and I'm like, all right, I'll do this day, this day, and then I didn't have the knowledge to understand what exercises I needed to do to get to where I wanted, to where I want to be. So
Mhm.
I didn't have the structure, and I work
All
best when
right,
I have
structure.
structure. And that was one of the things that Brendan had touched on. It was like, you help with the overall program, not only eating that, not only the overall like information about nutrition, but the structure of what exercises specifically are going to get me the results that I want to see, and how do we tweak it. Like we've tweaked it a bunch now.
Yeah,
um,
working around injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
when I did the cycling trip, like, we changed to being cycling focused. And now I'm into running, and now we're changing that to be more, cardio focused on certain days. And like the different exercises and the changes that I want to see, I think are totally, well, the changes that I've seen, truthfully, are 100% attributed to the structure of the program.
Structure. Yeah. I think it's easier to follow through on something and be motivated to do so when you're confident it'll work for you.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I see a lot of guys and they think that they're just not being disciplined enough or, oh, I'm just being soft. And it's like, no, I mean, if I had a plan that I didn't know was going to work and I didn't want to waste my time, I wouldn't be motivated either. So sometimes it's
Hmm.
just like knowing, okay, this is tailored for me and my situation. And, my goals are running focused now. All right, this is going to get me there. My goals are cycling focused. Oh, it's injury prevention. Like, if I just follow this will work. I think that's all you needed. You just needed the buy-in. Like, you just needed to know with 100% certainty, okay, this will move me closer to my goals if I follow it. That's all it
Yeah,
is. But okay,
absolutely.
so I'll be. Let me ask you this, man, and I'll be real with you about Brandon. I can speak for him. So that's the guy who referred you. He was definitely skeptical. Could you say that you were skeptical before we were started or not, or before we got started or no?
I think I was skeptical of the investment. I've never invested in a personal trainer, or a coach. And I think sometimes the monetary investment was like, am I gonna see what I want to see for what I'm, you know, paying into?
Hmm.
Um, so there was a little bit of skepticism. I mean, obviously, on your pages and whatnot, you have a crazy physique and you know exactly what you're doing. So I knew, all right, well, if I can at least mirror what Dallas is doing, I have a pretty good feeling it was going to work for me. So there wasn't too much skepticism,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, but that's a real thing though, man. Like, was the price uncomfortable? And like, what I guess what made you decide to move forward with it anyway, if that was the case? Because I get it, man. It's like, damn, like I'm investing in this. I hope. I mean, like, I see the guy gets results, but like, will that work for me? Or like, I hope I'm getting what I want out of it for what I'm paying. You know what I mean? I understand it's a scary thing because it's a big commitment, man.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't think the price wasn't scary. And is there a price really on investing in your health. Not to be cliche, right? But you can't put a price on getting into, the shape of your life. So that
Yeah.
was where I was at, was like, all right, well, it's worth it to help me get to where I want to get to, because I think, like, now knowing what I know now, could I do it on my own? Sure. But I didn't have that knowledge before. Um, and could I have spent hours and hours and hours researching? Absolutely. But it's beyond just the knowledge too. It's the weekly check-ins that we have. It's the
Mhm.
ability to bounce ideas off of you or send you things. What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And this is your whole focus. So some people, you have friends that might be into fitness, but they have their own lives, and I know this is your sole focus. So,
Mhm.
so I don't feel bad about peppering you with questions or
Yeah,
ideas and
yeah,
thoughts and stuff.
right, 100%. Yeah, so what I'm getting from that is like, all right, yeah, I had to pay money, but it's like, okay, at least I'm learning a skill set that I'll take with me. If we ever stop working together in the future, it's like, all right, at least you're confident that you'll be able to like you're autonomous, you'll be able to replicate these
Yeah,
results over and over again. It almost sounds like you were trying to accelerate the learning curve. Like, yeah, I could have figured this out on my own. I could have done a lot of research, but instead of, I don't know, 1 year, maybe taking me four, whatever the case is, right? So it sounds like just,
sure.
that kind of thing. Okay. Just curious. So what was it like? Were you, I guess a better question would be just talking about your experience actually in the program. What surprised you most about the process? Because I'll talk to a lot of guys and they're like, "Wow, I'm surprised. Like you didn't have me doing this, you didn't have me doing that, or I thought we were gonna have to cut our carbs." What would you say was the
Mm.
most surprising thing for you in terms of like just going through the process?
I would say, what would I say? There's a couple of things that surprised me. I think, like, I was a big proponent of, like, I thought that I needed to switch things constantly. Like, I've seen crazy good results from a pretty similar program throughout. Repetition on one thing. I thought I would have to switch it up. 1 month is this, then switch it up over this month. Like,
Muscle confusion. Yeah.
yeah, right, exactly. Like, you read so much stuff, you see so much stuff, and you see all these people, all these influencers and whatever, that tell you all these different techniques, and you really don't have to do that. You do enough of a similar program, and you're gonna end up seeing the results that you want. And you don't have to cut out. I kind of, maybe I was feeling that, well, personal trainer vibe is going to be, you have to be so, gung ho with it. You have to be so, like, you can't eat this, you can't eat that, whatever, but you're supportive. I'm making those choices on my own. And even if there's a week that's not as clean as the previous week or something like that, like, you're a supportive asset instead of a, like, drill sergeant. So I would kind of
Mhm.
assume that, like, that the program was going to be so cut and dry, but we've been able to be flexible, work around, like, a little bit of my back injury, stuff like that. So I was
Mm.
uh I was pleasantly surprised at how flexible we've been able to be, and just make it work for that week. Week to week things change, job demands change, like, things outside of fitness change. So it's been great to have that kind of that malleability with the program.
100%. Yeah. So number one, I'm getting you were surprised at how similar the workouts looked month to month. You're thinking, I got to change this stuff every week and
Yeah.
muscle confusion. Oh, like we need to change in order to grow. But yeah, you've been doing similar stuff. You've just been focused on progressing. And like,
Yeah.
funny enough, that probably got you better results than you would have gotten switching things up every month. So that's one thing that always surprises people. So it's funny you say
Yeah.
that. Then second, even as your second thing, I actually got that feedback this morning from someone. We were just going over our renewal. Somebody I've been working with for 6 months, and he's like, "Man, I thought you were gonna be a drill sergeant, but you weren't like a." He
Yeah.
called he said he called me like he's like, "Yo, you weren't like a dude, bro." You know what I mean? Like just like a,
Yeah.
I don't know, like a meathead gym bro. I guess that's what he meant. But yeah, it was like, hey, we're pretty malleable. Like we can adapt, and it's like, yeah, I'm here to help you guys. I'm not here to like just. I mean, obviously I got to hold y'all accountable, but I'm not here to be drill sergeant 24/7, man. You don't need me for that. So, so no, I get it's funny, man. Just he literally said the same thing this morning.
No, for sure. And it's,
Mhm.
sometimes, like, I think the way that, like, that I work is, like, I'm a drill sergeant for myself. I've been
Mhm.
pushing so hard to where I think the results that I've seen in a year is I don't know that I would necessarily would call it atypical, but it's
Mm-hmm.
proof that like if you fully commit, like 3 days a week, you'll get there. 5 to 7 days a week, you're gonna get there faster.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's been the thing for me. And you've said it's been easy to work with me. And I mean I was in that mentality when we started because I was so kind of um over the top with where I wanted to get to. And as fast as
Yeah.
as fast as I've gotten here, it's not by mistake. It was the plan.
Yeah. Yeah, like you were willing to, I always say like it's okay to have crazy goals, but what you're willing to put in just has to match that. That's it. And the
Right.
same goes the other way around. Like you don't want to be an elite level bodybuilder and you don't want to be single digit body fat and whatever. You don't want to look like a bodybuilder. Like that's what guys get on the phone and tell me. Okay, well if that's the case, I don't need you in the gym cutting your 7 days a week and also cutting your carbs and also doing an hour on the
Right.
stairmaster every day. Like it's
Yeah.
not that serious. But if you do want that, yo, you got to tighten up, bro. You got to be okay with eating the same thing a couple days in a row. Like it is what it
That's
is. You
it.
just got to put in the work. So it's just the goal just has to match the level of effort we're willing to put in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. So no, so with that said, did it feel restrictive or unsustainable for you?
No, no, I don't think so. I think again, like to touch on the fact that I knew that I had to restrict a lot to get, from where I was to
Hmm.
where I am now and to where I want to get to beyond this. I was anticipating that, but it wasn't so restrictive to the point where, I'm eating 1,400 calories and never touching this or never doing that. Like
Yeah.
I felt this entire time that I've been able to live my life, and I
Hmm.
just don't make those choices. I'm not tempted by those choices. So I think that's
Hmm.
made it a hell of a lot easier too.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you are eating cleaner, you are eating healthier. Like we're in a restriction, we're in a calorie deficit, right? But it's not like you had to
Yeah.
stop living your life as a byproduct of that. And quite frankly, some of these things you chose to do, like I didn't tell you you couldn't go out and drink anymore. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. It's not going to help you, but we
Right.
could make it work. I mean, we will still see results if you wanted
Yeah.
to do that. But you kind of made it work on your own. You're like, I don't really want to drink like that anymore. I don't see how this helps me. So you kind of made that executive decision, and you're still living your life. You're still going out to eat. So, um, how much? So, how long did it take for you to start seeing visible results? We're just talking about results now. Because sometimes,
Yeah.
some guys come in right away and they're losing weight and they're like, damn, why do I look the same? Or, how long did it take you? Just being real.
Yeah, I think I started seeing results. So I started seeing results pretty quickly, even before we started working together. A lot of that was due to just an insane amount of cardio that I was doing. I'd be on the treadmill. Incline walking has been my best friend, right up until I started training for the cycling trip, and then now running. So incline walking of like an hour, hour and a half, cycling like crazy. So I started to see the fat fall off pretty quickly within the first couple months of doing it on my own. Um, then I think the thing that I was missing was the strength training. And
Mm,
I started to see some pretty noticeable results. I'd say the first 3 months for sure. But then beyond that, like the first 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, even within the last I'd say 4 months especially, I've
mhm,
noticed an even bigger change to where I was like, I don't think I realized how long it took to see muscle gain results. Um, the first 6 months, I think it was definite fat loss, leaning out, seeing
yeah.
some definition, and then the 6 months since then, that's definitely been where I'm starting to see
Mhm.
the serious muscle gains.
Yeah, it's gradually then suddenly, right? And I'm glad you said that because
100%.
I think people come in and they think like, all right, like I paid this money and I'm working with this coach and
Yeah, why is it not already done? Let's
why is
go.
it why am I
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
the scale says I lost 5 pounds. Why don't I look different? It's like, yo, that's not
Right.
how this shit works. Like, you like you said, you're gonna look leaner. You're gonna notice your pants fitting differently, your clothes fitting differently. You're gonna notice like little things here and there. But like, it takes a while. But once you really start getting lean, now you're starting to see you popping out the shirt. Um, that's when the muscle gain starts to really catch up. And now, like, it's like this past 4 months, you've seen more. Your results show a lot more than the previous 4 months. But it takes time to get there. Once you get lean enough, you start seeing these results a little bit more.
It does. It absolutely does. Like I went from an XL and I was excited to buy a large, and now I don't
Mm.
wear any of the large things that I have, right? Larges are feel big on me. They are big
Right, you
on me.
medium now, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm a medium in everything now. Like pant sizes, I dropped what 7 inches off my waist. I went and got a suit refitted, dropped 5 inches off my back, 3 inches off my neck. So it's like that. I mean, the more that happens, the
oh
more
yeah.
motivating it is. It's been fantastic, and I actually need to get rid of so many clothes because I don't wear them anymore.
Damn, bro, it's that bad. Yeah, I'll get
Yeah.
mad at me when it's time to buy a new wardrobe. Like, I'm like, you asked for this, bro. Like,
It's a byproduct, but it's a good byproduct.
yeah,
It's awesome.
hell yeah, bro. That's crazy. And speaking of that, like, I know now it's the fun shit we can talk about because this is like what a lot of our calls end up
Yeah,
being. You telling me about this stuff, but like, what do you feel like changed about your energy and your confidence?
everything.
Like,
Literally
give me like
everything.
an example.
I mean, in just in the general way, like my energy level when I wake up to the time I go to bed, like everything about the way that I carry my day is different. I feel different. My midsection is half of what it used to be. Like I feel genuinely just ready for the day. I don't feel sluggish. I feel like my energy level is just overall through the roof. And obviously, like there's days when that's not the case. Like it's going to be normal. Things are going to happen. But I feel like even when those days happen, I recover way quicker. Um, Confidence, I think, just in the way that I carry myself, it's spilled over into the way that I carry myself at work, the way I
Mm,
carry myself outside of work. When I'm meeting new people and doing new things, like I'm much more apt to try new things and do new things. And like I set the goal for the cycling trip for myself, and I've talked to a ton of people about that trip that have also wanted to get into it. And then I kind of have become, I don't know, maybe a poster child for somebody that was in one place and then sets goals and then continues to show that that's possible. So it has permeated every single part of my life. It's been great.
mm. That's an interesting point, man. And I always joke because you moved from the Northeast down to Georgia, and that's when you started your new role at the job. And they kind of met your coworkers and the people you met down there. They kind of met this version of you. Like maybe you weren't as lean as
Yeah.
you are right now, but they met the fit version of you. They didn't meet the one that wasn't working out a couple of years ago, right? So I always think that's interesting because this is how they've probably always seen you,
Hmm.
which may feel new to you because people back home maybe didn't see it that way, right? They know the old you. So I mean, I say all that to say, what types of things, maybe compliments or just things people say in general? What are people saying around you? What have you noticed?
I think you nailed it. It's people see me as this must be the way that I've always been. People have made comments about, me being in shape. How do I keep my stomach so flat? How often do I work out? A lot of
Yeah,
people, honestly, down here, it's a military town. People mistake me for being in the military frequently, which is a new one.
that's funny as hell.
Yeah, that's been an interesting one, but
Hey man, I'll
yeah,
take
it's
it.
like, it's great. And it's like, and I'll show people down here, pictures of me from a year or two ago, and they're like, wow, holy shit. And it's a good feeling. It doesn't get old.
Yeah,
And it's good, and like humility is my number one thing, and I appreciate the compliments, and it feels good.
hell
Um,
yeah.
but I'm even as recently in last week, somebody made a comment. My polos are mediums and they fit, you know athletically. So, so yeah, I mean, it feels good, man. And a lot of people ask me questions. How do I do it? What do I eat? What's been
Yeah,
the game changer for me? And that's great. It's like I've never been in that position, and it feels awesome.
yeah. You the fit guy at the office, man. Every
Yeah.
every office guy has a fit guy. It's like you got guys who are like trying to get in better shape. No, you're like the office fit guy now. That's funny. You're that archetype. I'm laughing because I'm like picturing you just walking around the store, like a supermarket, and people just thank you for your service. Like people just saying that to you. You're like, what?
Somebody, yeah, a
Like,
couple people have said that to me, like, and I'm like, Appreciate that. Didn't serve in the
Appreciate it.
military, but thanks.
Never
Yeah.
did. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, yo, got them offer you the military discount at the
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Like, wow,
like, yo,
that's
what?
a new one.
Yeah, yeah, like it's like I don't know
But
why you
like,
would think that. I've never said that.
but even like in the office, like somebody there who was in the military who very clearly takes care of himself, he made a comment about me bringing in my lunches and whatnot, and we're talking about workout regimens and everything, and like that's just a new whole conversation, a whole side of things that I've never had the interactions like that where
Hmm.
people are asking me outwardly, like, what do you do? Noticing, yeah, you're bringing in your lunches, you're meal prepping, stuff like that, because it's not really normal.
Yeah, you stand out and it's kind of like interesting,
Yeah.
but it almost sounds like people aren't just asking because they're curious. They're asking like a little admiration, like, hey, I kind of want to be like that. Like, I don't know, man. It's not like they're trying to give you advice, like, yo, keep or cheer you on, like, hey, man, keep going. It's like you're not just a guy who lost weight. I always tell you this. I'm like, you stop being a guy who just lost weight and now you're like actually fit. Like we're transitioning into
Yeah.
that identity now. So now people are kind of asking more from a place of like, hey man, maybe yeah, maybe I need to get on that. Like, what are you doing that's working? Versus like, hey man, you can do it. Keep
Yep.
going. Hey,
Yeah,
that's
man. I've
keep
I've
it.
had a couple of people that have said that to me. That I have a couple of
Yeah,
people on my
I think it's
team, a couple
interesting.
of people for sure on some other teams that are like, you inspired me to do it. And like I had a friend at work come tell me, yeah, I'm down 15, 18 pounds. And I saw you the other day and we talked about it. And yeah, that got me, 3 months went by and now I'm down 20 pounds or whatever it is. And
Mhm.
it's been awesome to be in that position to help others kind of like reach that point to
Yeah.
to get to that, all right, shit, it's time for a change.
Hmm. Yeah, like because like you said, you're a poster child of going through that type of change, and it's like it. I think what always boggles my mind about your situation is like it wasn't that long, man. It's not like you've been at this for like you know 3 years, and it's like you're just
Yeah.
finally coming into your own. It's like yo, it's literally been a year, and you've like made a complete 180. Like you'll go back home,
Yep.
and people every time you see somebody, like, damn, bro, what you been doing? You look way different. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to see,
It's
but
awesome.
how how would you say people are treating you differently now? Because I know that's something that comes up a lot. And I think that was a good example of just like, coworkers asking about your meal prep because it like stands out a little bit, but like almost asking for advice. So I mean, that's one thing I know we weren't getting before. Um, I guess how would you notice that people are treating you now? Or in what ways are they treating you differently?
It's a good question. I mean, I think people in general respond differently when it's clear that you take care of yourself.
Hmm.
I've had conversations at the gym where it's kind of like a mutual respect kind of thing.
Hmm.
That's definitely been one, even on the street, right? Like walking downtown, and you kind of get the nod. One one person kind of acknowledging another in a store, that kind of thing, in a restaurant. Like, it's not necessarily spoken all the time, but it's something that like you can just kind of sense, you can feel. um I mean, I think there's this narrative that like fit privilege is a thing,
Hmm.
and I think that exists. Is it like that apparent every single day? Yes and no, but it's a definite, like, it's a definite mutual respect thing that I think people just kind of give.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. Cause I've told you about this too. I'm like, man, I used to be 70 pounds, man. And I'm like, I don't want to say like I was invisible, but I'm like, yeah, I was a small kid. Like I definitely feel like I get treated differently now. Just,
Oh, for sure.
people want to, they ask for advice. They want to, if it's obvious, like you wearing a polo like that or a shirt like that, hey man, what do you do? Like they'll kind of ask questions or
Yeah,
just treat you differently. You can tell there's like a vibe of respect or mutual respect, So and I
100%.
notice it on other people too. It's kind of like, damn, who's this guy? Like it's pretty jacked, so or he's in shape. Or if, somebody athletic looking walks in the room, your head kind of like drifts over there. So I mean, I get it. Um, so no, that's interesting. But I heard you say earlier, like this also affects how you show up at work too. So how would you say that being in shape now and making this transformation has impacted your work life or your personal relationships in general?
Yeah, no, it's been noticeable. It has changed the way that I carry myself. I think moving into a higher level role at work in itself kind of does different things for your confidence,
Hmm.
and your own like personal abilities, what you think you can do. And I think that it's kind of permeated into where I see like the longevity of my career. Like a good example, I just the overall confidence. I went in and talked to my leadership not too long ago about the fact that, I believe that I'm in line for a promotion, and if I'm not, tell me what I need to be doing. And they said, no, you are. And it's just having the confidence to go in, have those conversations,
Yeah.
have the exposure that I'm having at a higher level. Um, that maybe a year or two ago, I might have been a bit more timid to do. Maybe I might not have
Yeah.
taken that next step. And now it's a general thing. I feel confident in the morning, when I feel confident when I go to work, and I feel confident when I'm in the grocery store after work. It's like
Yeah.
it's everything.
Yeah. And to be clear, we're not saying, hey, being having arms like CJ got him a promotion. That's not what we're
No.
saying. It was more so like we talked about this on a check-in call a couple weeks ago, and it was like, damn, I had the confidence to like speak up and ask for a promotion and be like more assertive. And that's not something
Yeah.
I would have done a year ago as the less fit version of myself. But like it almost sounds
Right.
like just being more fit has given you the confidence to just show up in the world a little bit differently, and people are kind of respecting that.
Yeah, it has. It definitely has.
Yeah.
There's been a noticeable change, and just in the way it's even outside of a professional setting, in a personal setting.
Hmm.
I'm a pretty outgoing person. I have no problem talking to people and talking to strangers, and strangers seemingly always talk to me, and now it's happening even more. People I think people can feel that it's an energy thing.
Yeah, like you feel comfortable and you're relaxed and you're not.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. People probably want to be around you more because you feel more at peace with yourself. That's definitely
Yeah,
an energy
man.
thing, man.
I've never been more comfortable in my own skin ever.
There you go.
Like straight up, never felt as good as I feel. Um, Never, I think, have felt as comfortable as I feel, in workout clothes or at the beach or anything. You name it.
Hmm.
I'm just comfortable in my body truly for the first time in my life.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, that's crazy, man. We'll take it.
Yeah, it's
Hell
awesome.
yeah, man. Yeah, it's that's why it's so funny, like hearing all the I don't know, I guess like the good news you'll tell me every week. Like every week it'll be like a new, yo, this person said this or this happened. And it's like, man, that shit is drastically different from like a year or two ago. It's just
Yeah,
crazy. So I'm like, yo, you're experiencing like a different, you're just being treated differently. And I'm like, it's just now hitting you. So I don't know. I just think that's crazy. Like,
it is.
so
Yeah, it's a change in everything in life. It is crazy, honestly.
yeah. So what would you say to someone who's like on the fence about getting started with something like this?
I would say, I mean, obviously, do it, right? Easier said than done. To say just make the change and do it, you have to be ready to change everything. Because I think that's the thing that I noticed very quickly is you have to change not only what you eat, not only your sleep patterns, not only how often you work out, you have to change your mentality when you're doing none of that. It has to be an all or nothing type of thing. But I would say that the results on the other side of the suck couldn't be more worth it. Um, it changes so many things that aren't related to fitness, where pushing through, and it sucks, right? Don't get Everybody knows that when you are pushing to get to, that fitness journey, it's not easy. Like, a lot of people have asked, like, has it been difficult? For sure it's been difficult. Like
Hell yeah. I'd be lying if we said
it's
otherwise.
right. I'm not going to say that
Yeah.
working out 5, 7 days a week is easy, because it's not. That saying no to somebody offering the plethora of food that's always at work or at a party or whatever it is, you gotta be willing to take it to that next level. But I would offer that the trade-off, because of what it does for things even beyond your physical physique. For me, that's been one of the most noticeable things, is that it is so much a, like, change in your general way of living life, that it's so worth it. It's so
Mhm.
worth it to just take that leap of faith. And for a lot of people, for me, it was like I'm all in. I'm all in on this.
Yeah.
Um, and it couldn't have been a better decision.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And that's the important part. You ended with that, but you also said in the beginning, it's like, look, dude, I ain't no fucking magician, man. If you're not ready, you're not ready. Ain't nothing I could do. I don't care what
Yeah,
program I give you. If you're not gonna do it or you're not gonna take it seriously, you're not gonna get results. But like that's why it's so important we're on the same page. Like, hey, I'm here to help, I'm here to support. I'm not saying it's all on you, but you do need to be ready, right? So I think that's kind of
right.
what you were getting at. Like, all right, if you were just like dabbling and interested but not committed and kind of half step in and let me see if this works, let me go in and see what he's talking about. Like if you went in with that mentality, it wouldn't have worked. I mean, maybe
No,
you would have saw a little came around at some point, but it just wouldn't have worked out at that time. Or maybe we would have had to circle back in 3 months or something when you're really ready. So yeah, emphasis on that part, man. It's something you gotta be ready for. But that's why we
yeah,
had all those conversations leading up to it. It wasn't just like, hey man, let's go. It was like, all right, man, what's your goals? How motivated are you? Had a bunch of calls before we, got on board. But yeah, man. so,
yeah.
so, so I appreciate you going in depth about a lot of this stuff, man. Is there anything else you want to leave? Any other advice or like anything else I'm leaving out you want to tell the audience before we dip?
Um, Probably. I'm probably gonna think about stuff as soon as we get off the call, but like it's
That's how it goes.
I I couldn't recommend it anymore. To anybody that's watching, to anybody that feels like, you can't do it. It's you can. You absolutely can. You can change your entire life. You can change your entire state of being, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the world around you, and your like
Mhm.
abilities to just do what you want to do. For some people, it's running a marathon. For some people, it's doing a pull up. For some people, it's just feeling comfortable in their own body. And I'd recommend that you take that leap of faith. I couldn't be happier with the results that I've seen. Well, I could be because I'm not done, but
Yeah, we still got work to do, but
no, we
I
still got
mean,
work. We're not there yet.
yeah,
We're not
we ain't
there
there
yet,
yet.
but so far, and it's okay if it takes you 3 years. It's okay if it takes you
Yeah.
a year. There's no timeline on it because it's your health. So the
Hmm.
goal is to be healthy, right? The goal is to not do this for 2 years and say, okay, that's it, I'm done. The
That's
goal
I put in my
is
reps. Yeah.
right. The goal
Yeah.
is your entire life, right? So,
Right.
and for some people, like we've talked about it, right? Some of your clients, it's man, they want to be able to play with their kids or their grandkids, and that's a beautiful thing. So
Hmm.
it's the other side of the suck is worth it for
100%.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, bro. It's just crazy because you're saying like, yeah, anybody could do it if they like really, really like hunker down and put their mind to it, and it takes people different lengths of time. And yeah, you probably feel very like confident saying that just because like, man, I remember when you started or like before you started, and just I keep telling you, man, you really fast tracked your progress. Granted, you were willing to put in like a little bit more work and focus than a lot of people, but you just proved like, or you proved to yourself, it's like, damn, I can do this shit in a year. Like a
Yeah.
year is not that long, man. Like when you really
No,
think
it's
about it,
not.
people stop and start over the course of the year several times, like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. Oh, I went on vacation. That's another month before I lock back in. You just gave it like a
Yep.
year, not perfect, but like a year of focus. And it's like, damn, like, what's gonna? And we always say this, damn, what's the next 6 months gonna look like? What's the next year gonna look like? It's
Yeah.
just like we're just getting started, man.
Exactly.
It's only 1 year in, so I mean, I think what you've been able to do is amazing, man, and I'm grateful to be a part of your journey, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Dallas, you've been nothing but phenomenal, been a huge help. Um, and one thing I will say that just came to mind too is like, if you have something that you feel might be prohibiting you from doing it, there are ways to work around it, right? Like I had back surgery a couple years ago. I can still feel
Hmm.
it. Like I had a slip disc and everything, and we've been able to work around that.
Hmm.
After the cycling trip, it was my Achilles or whatever it is, like the program can be changed and you can do
Hmm.
things to help you through whatever physical limitation you might have.
Hmm.
So yeah, I just want to throw that in there because it's been helpful.
You know what, man? I appreciate you saying that because again, I was literally talking to one of my guys this morning, and like again, he was giving me similar feedback. The same guy I was talking about earlier. And like, long story short, he doesn't mind me sharing this, by the way, because he wants me to talk about it in content. But he actually overcame cancer, and
Oh wow.
I knew him like I would follow up with him and stuff because he was like interested in working with me. But like I was like in contact with him when he was going through it, and I was trying to encourage him and all that. But once he got that taken care of, and like now can't he's cancer free, everything's cool. he's working with me now, and he's lost 20 pounds in the past like 4 months or whatever, and
Nice.
everything's cool. But he also, right, like he a half hour, yeah, compromise from the adverse effects from the cancer. Like there's just still
Mm,
complications, dude. Even though he's cancer free, there's still complications. Man, man, like you need to let people know that your program's like adaptable. Like you talking to former athletes and it sounds like
yes.
it's gonna be a drill sergeant thing, but like you gotta let people know when you're messaging on the front end that like, hey, this is malleable, this is not like a one size fits all. And it's like,
Yep.
we can meet you where you're at. He's like, make sure. So I'm asking him for feedback of the program, right? Like, hey, what would you like to see more from me to like help you get to your results better, like that kind of thing. And he's like, man, I just need to see better like marketing from you, like talking about that. So I thought that was funny because you're literally saying the same thing. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
just emphasize, hey, man, like it's not. I'm not expecting everyone to go run through a wall and fucking be in the gym 7 days a week like you were when you
Right.
played sports. If that's what you did, I mean, we're gonna meet you where you're at, and if things come up, we adjust. That's it, man.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's been nothing but a pleasure to work with you every week, and I'm super excited to continue working with you, and super excited to see the progress, right? The next 6 months, the next 6 months, the next six
Next
months.
six
I can't
months.
wait for it.
We better have a six pack in the next 6 months, bro. That's all it. That's it,
Oh,
man.
that's the plan. That's the plan. Don't worry about that.
My man, CJ, I appreciate your time, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, Dallas.
That's it.